Hello everyone, my name is Ruby Mad Hatter. I am a streamer on Twitch, and I am here to provide you what I call the Idiot's Guide to Twitch. In this case, we're focusing this video on Twitch viewer counts and how they work. I am not going to get into the nitty-gritty programming of things because that is very technical and can confuse some people. I am trying to keep this as simple as possible so people understand how things are currently working, so that way they could better help their stream. Okay, so with that being said, let's get started. I do want to state though, as is transitioning real quick, I am a IT professional. I practice primarily cybersecurity, but I also do database administration, Cisco networking, things of that nature. So that's why I have some insight into this. All right, so we're going to do multiple steps here. So the first step is right here. We're going to do step 1. Yes, I'm breaking out. I said out and I typed out. I am breaking out the paint because literally I'm going back to the chalkboard days. All right, the first step is, let me type this in, is the video playing. All right. Is the video... You know what? I should just fix that. Make the box a little bigger. Like this. And then I'll do step 1 is the video playing. If I could type today would be nice. Alright, step 1 is the video playing. Alright. First one we're going to pick is no. Alright, and we're going to go over here and we're going to make a big box, and that box is going to essentially say you do not count as a viewer. All right, that is where that box is going. So anything red is going to be no, anything green will be yes. All right, in this case green, we go yes, congratulations, you get to move to step 2. All right. All right, so we'll have step 2. I do want to put a caveat on this no here, and that is browsers like Google Chrome, Firefox, Opera GX, multiple different types of common browsers have a tab sleep feature. If you have that turned on and you don't have the stream currently as your active tab, if you don't interact with it within a certain period of time, the tab goes to sleep, video stops playing. You don't count. So in this case, keep in mind, watch for sleeping tabs. All right? Boom. That can lead to you not counting as a viewer with a sleeping tab. All right? Now, let's move on to step 2. Is the tab muted on Twitch? All right. Is the tab muted on Twitch? All right. In this case, if the answer is yes, it's muted on Twitch, you do not count as a viewer. All right. So if it's muted on Twitch, you don't count as a viewer. If it's not muted on Twitch, oh, didn't mean to hit that button. Let me hit this again. And then hit this. There we go. Then we move on to step 3. All right. So Twitch can keep track of whether or not you've muted on their website. But if you mute the tab, or if you like on the browser, or if you mute the browser or you turn off your speakers or whatever, Twitch has no ability to log that. It doesn't have as much invasive watch of your computer as much as, say, anti-hacking programs for some games out there. All right, so let's keep that in mind. So we move on to step 3. Okay, so we're going on to step 3. Like I said, muting the tab, the program, or turning the computer, or turning off speakers does not count as muted at this time. I want to bring that up again, because there's a lot of people who have that misinformation that think if you mute the tab or you mute the browser, Twitch knows. They do not. They have no way of detecting that. at this time. Step 3. Do you have an ad block that Twitch can detect? Yeah, I know, this is a big chatty one, okay? Do you have an ad block that Twitch can detect? If the answer is yes, then congratulations, you don't count as a viewer. If the answer is no, oh, god damn it, I did it again. I gotta get used to paint. If the answer is no, then we move on to step 4, okay? Now, I do want to put something here, all right? If you have Twitch Turbo or you're subscribed to the streamer, you could ignore this step. You automatically count as a viewer, all right? Actually, I noticed I am in the way, so let me shrink myself some. There we go. All right. So yes, step 3 right there. Do you count as basically, if you have Turbo or subscribe to the the streamer, you still count. Otherwise, if you have an ad block they can detect, the system will not count you. All right. How do you know if your ad block is detectable or not? Do a Google search. There are several websites that point out what are detectable by Twitch, what are not. Twitch also tends to have an alert, at least at one point, that lets you know, hey, you're using ad block. Would you like to turn that off? Most websites do that. All right. Step 4. All right. Step 4. Do you have more than 2 tabs open on Twitch? All right. Step 4. Do you have 2 or more tabs open on? Do you have more than 2 tabs open on Twitch? All right. If the answer is yes, congratulations, you don't count as a viewer. All right. If the answer is no, then you move on to step 5. Okay. Now, I do want to point this out. This counts both your IP address and your username. So, if you are logged into multiple computers, but with the same account, you won't work. That won't work. If you're logged into multiple accounts, but you're on the same computer, that also will not work. It has to be different accounts, different computers, and you have a max of 2. All right. Clancy's little statement of you can't have 10 tabs open and be watching them all, that's an accurate statement from him. All right, he's not lying in that instance. So please keep that in mind. All right, I know a lot of you want to support your friends, you want to help people, things of that nature. Just, you got to keep that in mind and only have 2 open at a time. All right, and what it counts as 2 tabs open on Twitch is you still have to get past these other 3 steps. So if you have a tab that doesn't have, say, the tab is muted, it's not going to count as one of the 2 tabs for step 4. If you have an ad block on one of the pages for some reason, like say you have one stream open on Google Chrome and another open on, say, Firefox, and you don't have ad block installed on Firefox, the Firefox one will count, the Google Chrome one will not. So you have to go through the steps, okay? All right, so you have to go, like, I wish I could have a pointer. There we go. You have to go through these steps to reach here. All right, that is the important thing. Now we hit step 5. And this is the controversial one. This is the one that a lot of people are confused about and a lot of people do not understand. Step 5. Have you interacted with chat or channel points? All right. And this is the one where people are like, oh, you know, this is where the arguments are occurring and so on and so forth. If the answer is yes, then we move on to this fun little block here, which I will now make. And that is, give me a second. I want to make sure I type this correctly. Congrats. You count as a viewer for the streamer now. All right. Give me a second. I just moved that off a little to the right. There we go. Congrats. You count as a viewer for the streamer now. If the answer is no, then congratulations, you do not count as a viewer. Now, why is this? And this is something that a lot of people do not quite get. I'm trying to find where I can get a pointer. Okay. This will work as a pointer. All right. Or maybe not, because it's definitely having its issues. All right. So, step 1, is the video playing? If you passed, go. Step 2, is the tab muted? No? Cool. Step 3, if you have an ad block that Twitch can detect. If the answer is no, move to step 4. Step 4, do you have more than 2 tabs open on Twitch? If the answer is no, move to step 5. And step 5 is, have you interacted with chat or channel points on? And if the answer is yes, you count as a viewer. No, you don't count as a viewer. Why is that? The AI detection they're using to find view bots is basically, the programmers were not given a lot of time to sort this out. All right. So they had to use programming shortcuts in order to get the job done. And those programming shortcuts, this is not fault of the programmers. They're not lazy. They're not stupid. They are working with an extremely limited time frame from the higher ups who basically want this problem solved yesterday instead of actually thinking about where this problem came from. All right. I will make a separate video discussing how to counteract the view bot problem. But this video, I'm trying to help you fix your viewer counts. All right, or at least help you fix your favorite streamer's viewer count. All right. So what did they do as programming shortcut? Well, in this case, they looked at what are behaviors that view bots do that basically makes them different from normal people. Well, 1, view bots tend not to chat. They lurk. That's all they do is lurk. All right. Second thing is, they're not advanced enough for the most part to use channel points. So the programmers put it into place that said, hey, use a channel point, or if you say something in chat, it could be a single letter, a single number, does not matter. You have interacted with the chat element. All right, that little thing on the right side of the screen, you have interacted with it. If you have done that, then it thinks you're a human and therefore will count you as a viewer. All right, if you haven't, it's not going to do that. So my suggestion is to some people out there, if you're a streamer, put a channel point redeem in that doesn't create any effects, doesn't do anything to draw attention, but it just literally says, hey, I'm lurking and this is quietly my way of supporting you. All right, that is what keeps this detection thing from going off. All right, so that is all well and good. All right, then we move on to the next step. All right, as the chatter. All right, you got to keep this in mind. You have to say something. All right, that's all you got to do. Just interact with something, say something. Here's the problem. All right, these view bot companies are not stupid. They are working with AI programs that are going to start chatting soon, that they're going to start using channel points. And I am going to make a separate video. When I just do the video discussing the view bot issue, I am going to point out what these companies are doing and how they're counteracting this whole setup. Okay? So either way, I'm going to post this on YouTube. I'm going to break it in half and make it 2 different parts on TikTok. And I am going to share this to the best of my ability so that people understand how this works. Okay? So please just be mindful that the programmers are doing their best. They're trying to figure out how to make this work better. I understand right now our views are kind of shitty and they suck and all that jazz. So it is what it is. All right, give them time to correct this. Twitch is not dying. We just need to change our behavior slightly on Twitch in order to make sure that our views are being counted for the streamers and the streamers are getting appropriate ad revenue for the right number of people. All right. With that being said, please make sure you're taking care of yourselves mentally and physically. That's always important. And I hope to see you guys all in my tavern one day. You guys have a great day. Toodles.